Hello, welcome to Strictly Money at the News Forum, where all voices matter. I'm your host, Saijal Patel. Thanks for joining. How should our government regulate cryptocurrencies? This is a question that comes up time and time again from crypto advocates, the critics, and mainstream investors alike. On one hand, many enthusiasts believe that crypto provides a more equitable monetary system away from perceived regulatory overreach. But others think that some governance is necessary to protect investors and allow for innovation. Justin Hartzman is actively involved in shaping the crypto landscape. He is CEO and co founder of Coinsmart, and he joins me now. Hi, Justin. Great to have you on.
Thank you, Saijal. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So, crypto regulation, very controversial. It's not black and white. There's lots to consider. From your stance, is the regulation that we're seeing or you're seeing so far headed in a productive direction?
It's a great question, and I think it is a little bit more black and white now than it ever has been before. But there is a lot of nuances to it, of course, when there's so much that's happening in a space that's so innovative, and things are changing all the time. So it's very hard for any regulator anywhere to keep up. But they have been doing a good job in my mind. Sometimes we feel a little restricted in what we can offer to our customers, things that they want or they're going seeking in other locations to do. But they've really saved some people in this situation. Let's look what happened here specifically in Canada with our restrictions. We were not able to allow our users to do things like DeFi lending. Well, we know what happened there over the last 90 days or so. The Terra collapse, Celsius, Voyager, the list goes on of all these amazing companies that grew super fast that collapsed outside of, an event that was really a black swan event in the market. And because of that, we were lucky we sat on the other side of it where our customers weren't in those products. We weren't lending out to some of those names I mentioned, or 3AC, which is Three Arrows Capital. And that saved our clients from having a loss of capital in that situation. So regulation is important. It needs to be done correctly. And I think they're thinking about it in the right ways. As long as they continue to work with us and innovate at the same time, I think we'll get to a place that's good for everybody across the world.
What specifically, Justin, are regulators grappling with? I mean, and you mentioned that it's moving at lightning speed, right? Innovation. So I have to think that's one. What else?
The reality of the situation here is that they need to understand it very well before they can make the change. And the fact that it's changing so quickly, how do they keep up with that with the backlog of individuals who are trying to be regulated at this given time based on the current market conditions and how we've been regulated before? And then on top of that, they have to look at how they've regulated traditional industries previously and how we can fit into that same box. It's been proven to work for the most part. How do they make it work in our industry at the right time? So they're really grappling with that on an ongoing basis. But it's been great to see that Canadians and Ontario, the OSC here, and the CSA have really blazed a lot of trail for other countries to look at the model that has worked.
Yeah.
And putting that in place in other countries. I know the UAE is looking at it. MiCA in Europe, or the EEA, is modeling around this. That's a really important thing that Canada's blazed a trail a little bit. And maybe even the SEC in the US, which we usually follow here in Canada,
Yeah.
is looking at what we've done because it's a pretty good regime that we have here in Canada. There are some things that are obviously nuanced that aren't great for customers, like the ability to only buy $30,000 worth of cryptos that aren't specific to four that they believe are okay. That's kind of an odd situation, and other restrictions that we have today. But I think we are getting to a good place, and innovation will continue as we continue to push the regulators.
All right, Justin, we only have about a minute left, but it's an interesting point that you raised, right? Because Canada, I mean, we were the first ones to create the Bitcoin ETF. Are we still leading other jurisdictions, or are others catching up?
I think others are starting to catch up, but we are ahead of them. And maybe we can continue that way if we have not only ourselves here at Coinsmart, but other leaders at other crypto asset trading platforms across Canada and blockchain or Web3 environments to continue to push the regulators forward. And we see a lot of the community coming together where we're not looking at this as a competitive us versus you. We need to come together. We need to push regulation forward so the betterment for all the Canadian investors out there and investors worldwide. So it's really nice to see that, because our theory here at Coinsmart is, high tides raises all ships. Well,
Mm,
that's the case. We want to see everyone do well. There's
okay.
only about 3.5% of crypto people in crypto today.
Yeah.
We need it to get to 10, 20%. Let's do that together.
All right. We're take a quick break. We'll be right back.